What is a person saying when they say, I need you to represent me well in the streets?
Interesting. Whew, that's a much more layered one a little bit, because it goes back into what you're saying, not just with kids, but also with our partners. What you do is a reflection on me. So although we come from different backgrounds and whatever, there should be some type of an agreement, hopefully, on how we represent ourselves in the streets.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge, because there may not be an agreement. So of course I want you to represent me well, and you want me to represent you well, because what I do reflects you and what you do reflects me. So again, I also think it's taking me into consideration, right? If you're doing something, have you thought about how that reflects on me? Because jobs require that, right? Jobs say the same thing.
Why is the reflection? See, because to me that sounds like the partner's out and about, living life the best they can, and not only do they have to be concerned about whatever's in their own head as far as mental health and energy, now they need to be considering another person who's not even present.
Yeah, duh. That's called relationships. Don't you consider your kids when they're not present? When I go to the grocery store, do I consider only what I want to eat, or do I take into consideration? I could go to the grocery store. Especially back when I was the housewife, I was the main one cooking. So I could go to the grocery store and buy whatever I want and cook what I want, and y'all just got to eat it. That's
right.
not love. Or do I go to the grocery store and say, these are the things I like. Also, let me get some of the stuff that Travis likes. Also, let me get some stuff that the kids like.
Okay.
So that means I have to think about, what do you like? I have to think about, what do the kids like? I have to think about not just ingredients, but meals that you guys like. That's more work.
But now,
Absolutely.
if you're at dinner with your girlfriends and you're not grocery shopping, at dinner with your girlfriends, and then two guys approach, or your girlfriend brings up a topic that I might not like, I guess what I'm saying is, why will you be talking to Tasha and ducking around a conversation that's uncomfortable to me if I'm not present?
Why would I be ducking a
conversation?
conversation?
Like, do you need to consider? I understand the grocery shopping analogy. You gotta, you're buying the groceries. If you think about yourself, they don't get bought. You just buy for yourself.
This is where some of that obedience comes into play, right?
Okay.
For instance, I think we've seen this with friends. Friends share a lot of stuff with me, even before I had the role of a therapist. Partners didn't always like that. Why? I don't want them to know these things about me. That's a reflection of them. You're not even giving consent to your business being shared and discussed.
Right.
That's not important to you. I care about who knows all of my business, when and where and how. So that's something like, even what you're saying, me and Tasha have an understanding. She wouldn't even talk about my business to randoms. We know that. That's kind of my point about certain understandings or boundaries, hopefully, that are started from the beginning, but in a lot of relationships they're not, right? Would I even have Tasha and me both, if someone asked for either one of our numbers, we would check with each other first. You want me to give this person your number? She would do the same. For me, that's good representation.
Right.
If there was somebody who was just giving my number to anyone, am I even going to be talking to you? You don't even get my number anymore. You don't get access.
Yeah.
So that's why it's also important, because are you stepping on my toes and my boundaries, what I'm comfortable with or what I'm not comfortable with? Given our own example, there was instances in the past you've shared my trauma history with people.
Yeah.
You did that to help them. There were certain people I was kind of okay with when you told Jenny about it. Cool. Some people you tell about, I'm like, why you tell them?
Yeah.
Because it felt like my story.
Yeah.
But when you talked to me about it, I understood your heart, so it didn't feel like, oh, he doesn't love me, right? But some people don't even get to that point. And so it's also a setup in the relationship, because that's a trigger possibly for some people, which means now you're asking them to do work, because that's what somebody's going to be doing the work. So now you're asking me to take on more work because you don't want to do any, or you don't want to do that work. Somebody's got to do it, because if something gets triggered, I am responding, you're responding to that trigger. So what we're typically saying is, don't trigger us. That's not possible. So be considerate then. Try to trigger me less, because I'm going to try to trigger you less, hopefully.
Right. I like that. Consideration.